So let's begin today. And so we're going to be looking at e-commerce today and drop shipping. And let me just get rid of this window here. And I just wanted to show you a little case study, because what that's going to do is it's going to bring to the fore an issue that a lot of people are grappling with. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. It will become apparent what it is. So I managed to get the dashboard of this store, and it's called Go Stargazers. You can see it just there, and you can see how much money they make. They make a huge amount of money. So in January they've made 64. This is sales, by the way, it's not profit, but still, nevertheless, a really good turnover. And let me just show you a few more stats, and then I'll explain why I'm bringing this store as a bit of a case study. So they're called Go Stargazers. Let me just show you the website. And you can see it's kind of a Zen type, yoga type store. But, and you know, the products, the pictures are all very high quality pictures, and I'm sure they convert. I mean, we'll have a look at their conversion in just a moment. So really nice pictures. But what struck me when I looked at this store is that it's what I would call a generalist niche store. So it's not necessarily, so usually we look at a very defined niche, but this one isn't really. It's a generalist store. Let me just go back to here so you can see the various categories. And I'm not sure what it is. My computer seems to be on my broadband is a bit slow. I mean, what is this here? Clothing. So they have house essentials, clothing, beauty, jewelry, beach vibes, and couples. I mean, I don't know if we look at this. Again, you can see it doesn't really have any bearing on the face of it to the other categories. So you'll understand why I'm showing you this in just a moment. Let's continue with the presentation. So let me get rid of this. And I just wanted to show a few stats here. So they have $10,661 average monthly revenue and 2,257 average monthly net profit, which is a good profit margin. It's say 20%, give or take, profit margin. And they run traffic mainly through Facebook ads. So what I wanted to talk about today is these two different business models, one of which being a niche, just like a single niche store, and the other one is being a generalist store, because this one looks rather successful. So let's have a look at the pros and cons of each one. Before we do that, some more stats. So they seem to be converting not bad. 344 on a Shopify store is actually quite good. So they have a good way of converting, and they just generally seem to be doing well. So sorry, I missed this one here. So this is Oberlo, which is one of the leading apps for drop shipping. You just choose a product from Oberlo based on, so it's synchronized with the likes of AliExpress. You choose products based on their price or their feedback or their postage methods, and then it automatically synchronizes into your Shopify store. And they occasionally even fulfill, I believe for the upgrade, they fulfill the orders. So they send an email to the customers telling them that the order's gone out. So it really kind of pretty much automates the entire fulfillment process. So you can see how much they've spent with Oberlo. So it's a sizable spend, just to give you a feel for how this business is run. And we've had a look at this, right? So what do we do? I mean, we have an example here of a successful store, and do we go with this general niche or do we stay with more defined niches? And so let's look at the pros and the cons of each one. And let's begin with a niche-based store, which is what I believe the majority of you have. So the pros is I think it's easier to rank because say you're in the unicorn niche, unicorn clothes, so you can come up with some long tail keywords about unicorns, and then you build up some digital assets based on that keyword, and then gradually there is that cross-pollination between the different assets. So if you've got, say, one department which would be unicorn tails and another department could be unicorn pajamas, you will, by definition, just by the simple act of linking one to another, you will be scoring higher on anything that's to do with unicorn. So that means you get more filter traffic. So when people search for unicorn products, they already come primed to buy because they're looking for a specific unicorn type product, which means that they convert more easily. So far it just seems like a win-win here. But the con is that you're putting all your eggs in one basket. So things can change, regulatory can change, and they can be different developments. Like, for example, if you're doing supplements or anything like this, then sometimes laws change. What you're doing here is you're putting all your eggs in the one basket. But more importantly is you may discover that if you, say, decide to go for unicorns and you're just not making it, it's just not happening, traffic's too expensive, people just don't want to buy, it's just not a hot niche that people feel passionate about, you're just stuck with it. Whereas possibly with a more wider store, you might have some options. All you do is you just cull out a few products, but you still have a store. The general drop shipping store, so the pros is that you can go with trendy products, so it's flexible to start. So this would be something like, for example, well, what we've just seen, but say what do these celebrities wear? So we just look at what celebrities wear and we just put it on the store. Or, for example, different quotes, or just things which, so for example, quotes isn't really a niche. So you can have quotes about unicorns, you can have quotes about anything, but there is some common denominator. Like with a general drop shipping store, you would still want to have, even though it's different niches, you would still want to have a common denominator. Like you would want it to be trendy, or you would want it to be something that celebrities wear, or you want it to be quotes. There has to be some sort of thread of commonality, but it's just not the one niche. So it's flexible to start, you have more areas to shoot towards, and you can reach more people. For example, there's more Google searches. And the way to advertise these general drop shipping stores is to either put Facebook ads, or even better, you just put it on Google Shopping, because Google Shopping is keyword driven. So you just literally put the keyword and the nice image on Google Shopping, and then people just find it. And then if you can build a list from it, and then maybe you can retarget or maybe offer coupons on there, it's just another option. And of course you can test multiple niches at once. So that means that we don't need to wait for 6 months to know if unicorns work or not. We just place a few ads, Google ads, for, say, running shorts as well as kitchenware, and we just see which of these converts better, and then we make a decision from there. So we can promote them through Facebook and Google Shopping. The cons is the conversions are going to be lower because people don't know what to expect. I mean, they could expect maybe some running shoes, and that's fine, but if they don't like the running shoes, then they're being presented with kitchenware, which is completely entirely different. But for example, if you hit on a unicorn store, you don't like the unicorn pajamas, but you might like the unicorn bracelet because you are in the unicorn niche. And arguably there's more competition here as well, because you are competing with the likes of Walmart and people like that, the pound store we have here in the UK. So people that have a wide variety of products, you're competing with them. Whereas if you come up with some amazingly unique unicorn products, that's not necessarily something that Walmart is going to stock. Now let me see, this might be the last slide. Yes, it is. Right. So let me give you my verdict here, guys. I think both of these have their pros and cons, as we've seen. I would personally go for a niche store. I think when you're starting out, here's why the niche store has more things going for it. So first of all, it's something that you feel strongly about. This is something from the heart. I think it's hard to get really excited about a store that's going to have it's going to have kitchenware, it's going to have clothes. It's quite cold and mechanical. Whereas if you fell in love with something and then you go out and become an ambassador for it, then your passion is going to show, and that's gonna help your business. It's like any business. It's not just drop shipping. It's any business where you love your business. It is just going to show, because everything's going to look good and well cared for. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is, as I said in the presentation, I think that it's just easier when you're starting out. Conversions is a really big thing when you're starting out. It can be soul destroying to get traffic. You just see people bounce without buying anything. That's very difficult psychologically to stomach. So anything that we can help by way of having a quirky store that looks good in a defined pack niche, hopefully something that cannot get in Walmart, would just help our business. And especially when we're starting out, it's these sort of knocks, they can really derail us and they can make us quit. So in my opinion, something that we feel very strongly about, that defines who we are. We find a community of like-minded people. It doesn't have to be millions of people. It just needs to be a community, like a pool of people that feel the same, and then they can be repeat customers. It doesn't have to be a Facebook page with 500,000 people. Just 1,000 or 2,000 even can generate decent sales if there's a bit of that enthusiasm going in there. If there's content being added, then people are more likely to buy. And I think when we're starting out, it's almost like this kind of club that we have. And I think that's a really good way of selling, because people buy us. They buy us. I mean, of course, when we become bigger, but people don't buy Sam Walton when they go to Walmart. But when we're starting out, they buy us, and that's probably the best way to get started. And it's very powerful when you have this niche-based business. It's easy, it's fun, and it'll be my recommended way, at least when you start out.